Hello, welcome to Chapter 7, Individual and Group Decision Making. This is by far one of my favorite chapters. There are two kinds of decision making, rational and non-rational. A decision is a choice made from among available alternatives. Decision making is the process of identifying and choosing alternative courses of action. Two models managers follow in making decisions are rational and non-rational. In the rational model, there are 4 steps in making a decision. Stage 1 is identifying the problem or opportunity. A problem is a difficulty that inhibits the achievement of goals. An opportunity is a situation that presents possibilities for exceeding existing goals. This is a matter of diagnosis, analyzing and underlying causes. Stage 2 is thinking up alternative solutions. Stage 3 is evaluating the alternatives and selecting a solution. Alternatives should be evaluated according to cost, quality, ethics, feasibility, and effectiveness. Stage 4 is implementing and evaluating the solution chosen. The rational model of decision-making assumes managers will make logical decisions that will be the optimum in furthering the organization's best interests. The rational model is prescriptive, describing how managers ought to make decisions. Non-rational models of decision-making assume that decision-making is nearly always uncertain and risky, making it difficult for managers to make optimum decisions. Two non-rational models are satisficing and intuition. Satisficing falls under the concept of bounded rationality. That is, the ability of decision makers to be rational is limited by enormous constraints, such as time and money. These constraints force managers to make decisions according to the satisficing model. That is, managers seek alternatives until they find one that is satisfactory, not optimal. Intuition is making choices without the use of conscious thought or logical inference. The sources of intuition are expertise and feelings. Making ethical decisions is the next section. Corporate corruption has made ethics in decision-making once again important. Many companies have an ethics officer to resolve ethical dilemmas, and more companies are creating value statements to guide employees as to desirable business behavior. To help make ethical decisions, a decision tree, a graph of decisions, and their possible consequences may be helpful. Managers should ask whether a proposed action is legal and, if it is intended to maximize shareholders' value, whether it is ethical and whether it will be ethical not to take the proposed action. There are 4 general decision-making styles. A decision-making style reflects the combination of how an individual perceives and responds to information. Decision-making styles may tend to have a value orientation, which reflects the extent to which a person focuses on either task or technical concerns versus people and social concerns when making decisions. Decision-making styles may also reflect a person's tolerance for ambiguity, the extent to which a person has a high or low need for structure or control in his or her life. When the dimensions of value orientation and tolerance for ambiguity are combined, they form 4 styles of decision-making, which are directive, analytical, conceptual, and behavioral. When confronted with the challenge in the form of a problem or an opportunity, individuals may respond in perhaps 4 ineffective ways and 3 effective ones. The ineffective reactions are as follows. In a relaxed avoidance, a manager decides to take no action in the belief that there will be no great negative consequences. In relaxed change, a manager realizes that complete inaction will have negative consequences, but opts for the first available alternative that involves low risk. In defensive avoidance, a manager can't find a good solution and fouls by procrastinating, passing the buck, or denying the risk of any negative consequences. In panic, a manager is so frantic to get rid of the problem that he or she can't deal with the situation realistically. The effective reactions consist of deciding to decide. That is, a manager agrees that he or she must decide what to do about a problem or opportunity and take effective decision-making steps. 3 ways to help a manager decide whether to decide are to evaluate. Number 1, importance. Number 2, credibility. And number 3, urgency. The availability bias sometimes come into effect. The availability bias means that managers use information readily available from memory to make judgments. The confirmation bias means people seek information to support their own point of view and discount data that do not. The representatives bias is a tendency to generalize from a small sample or a single event. The sunk cost bias is when managers add up all the money already spent on a project and conclude that it is too costly to simply abandon it. The anchoring and adjustment bias is a tendency to make decisions based on an initial figure or number. The escalation of commitment bias describes when decision makers increase their commitment to a project despite negative information about it. An example is the prospect theory, which suggests that decision makers find the notion of an actual loss more painful than giving up the possibility of a gain. Groups make better decisions than most individuals acting alone, though not as good as the best individual acting alone. Using a group to make a decision offers 5 possible advantages. 1, greater pool of knowledge. 2, different perspectives. 3, intellectual stimulation. 4, better understanding of the reasoning behind the decision. And 5, deeper commitment to the decision. It also has 4 disadvantages. Number 1, a few people may dominate or intimidate. Number 2, it will produce groupthink when group members strive for agreement among themselves for the sake of unanimous and avoid assessing the decision situation. 3, satisficing. And 4, goal displacement when the primary goal is subsumed to a secondary goal. Some characteristics of groups to be aware of are: 1, groups are less efficient. 2, their size affects decision quality. 3, they may be too confident. And 4, knowledge counts. Decision-making accuracy is higher when group members know a lot about the issues. Using groups to make decisions generally requires that they reach a consensus, which occurs when members are able to express their opinions and reach agreement to support the final decision. Minority dissent should be allowed so members can safely disagree with each other. 3 problem-solving techniques aid in problem solving. Number 1, brainstorming. It is a technique used to help groups generate multiple ideas and alternatives for solving problems. 2, Delphi technique is a group process that uses physically dispersed experts who fill out questionnaires to generate ideas. 3, a computer-aided decision-making. Decision support systems provide flexible tools for analysis and help managers focus on the future. This kind of computer-based system aims to produce collected information known as business intelligence, gathering data from a wide range of sources in a way that can be interpreted by humans and used to support better business decision-making.